Orlovsky, I'm Laura Rutledge, and we are with you with all the coverage that you need coming from Cleveland on NFL Live as well as ESPN for the next few days and ABC. All right, let's get, though, to some big news today, you guys, as this happened just hours ago.
Yes.
Here.
We're in the land. Yes.
Get the latest from Adam Schefter. He joins us now. Adam, what more can you tell us about the Panthers and Broncos trade that happened just a little while ago?
Well, Laura, Teddy Bridgewater has been traded from Carolina to Denver for a sixth-round draft pick. Now, Teddy Bridgewater was due $10 million in guaranteed money for this upcoming season. The Carolina Panthers are paying $7 million of the $10 million in guaranteed money. The Denver Broncos are paying $3 million of the guaranteed money. So Denver is shoring up the quarterback position, but it doesn't mean that Denver is out of the quarterback market, and it also means that the Carolina Panthers could be in the quarterback market. So the two teams, which picked back-to-back at 8th and 9th in the draft on Thursday night, both have made a quarterback move, but it hasn't really changed anything other than the fact that both still could be looking at quarterbacks in the first round of the draft, and Teddy Bridgewater goes to Denver in a trade made by the Broncos' new general manager, George Paton, who formerly came to Minnesota, where Teddy Bridgewater played for him.
Yeah, really good point. Adam with us throughout the next hour with all the latest on everything. And you heard Adam just mention it there, Marcus. It seems like Carolina is big quarterback hunting. If you're looking at the quarterbacks, it could be available for them. Which one should they go after there?
Justin Fields, because seemingly somebody has forgot he can play football. So if he's there at 8, the Carolina Panthers with him and Joe Brady together and his ability will go crazy. Listen, Joe Brady turned Joe Burrow into the first overall pick in a year. In a year. And think about the opportunity that he would have with this athleticism, this ability to go downfield, this ability to put him in an offense along with Robbie Anderson, along with Christian McCaffrey. Do you know how devastating the RPO would be for the Carolina Panthers with Justin Fields and Christian McCaffrey in the backfield? So if he's there, Matt Rule, don't think about it. Take him. And even if you figure out that Sam Darnold can be the guy, guess how much leverage you have having a young quarterback before you have to pay him in Justin Fields as either a trade tool or a guy that you can just have in that room and have confidence that his development will be well.
I think this excites picks 4, 5, 6, 7. I think those teams are the winners because the reality, this does make me think Carolina's at least an opportunity to take a quarterback. You know, you're not going into the season, I'm anticipating, with just Sam Darnold. So all those teams, Washington, New England, Chicago, you've got to try and jump 8. Because the fear of them taking a quarterback is in there. And for Denver, the reality is this. Today, Teddy Bridgewater is a better quarterback than Drew Lock.
100%.
So I think this speaks more to Drew Lock and the potential for Denver to move on from him. Because the reality is, if I'm Denver and I'm their fans, I would rather have Teddy Bridgewater and us go get Trey Lance and not have a first-round pick next year than just go into the season with Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater.
It's interesting because you got to think there is a suitor out there who would want Drew Lock and try to get their hands on him, see what they can do with it. Mina, picks 7, 8, and 9 has been such a flex point for you in the draft. Now that you know about this information, what do you think these teams should do? Go get a quarterback.
I've been saying it for weeks. All 3 of them. Look, we can set aside Detroit because as much as I've been begging them to get a quarterback, I don't think they're going to do it. But this changes nothing in my mind for Denver. Dan is absolutely right about them drafting Trey Lance or Justin Fields if he's available there. There's no question. Now, setting that aside, this was a nice piece of business for them because they just got Teddy Bridgewater. They upgraded at quarterback for a bag of chips. We're talking about like a 6th-round draft pick and $3 million. Like, good job, Denver. But it would be a huge mistake if that stopped them from drafting a quarterback. And to me, now Denver and Carolina, both of whom need quarterbacks, have to be looking at each other. And maybe Atlanta's looking at them too. And it's like that scene in The Office where Michael, Andy, and Dwight are all looking at it. Dan doesn't watch The Office. You know what I'm talking about with the finger guns.
I've seen the GIF.
And it's like, oh, y'all want a quarterback? Well, who wants Justin Fields more? Because this pick, Atlanta's pick, is for sale.
So, Marcus, when you think about that and where Atlanta factors into all this, it seems like a lot of the narrative, at least even leading up to this point, has been that they're just going to take Kyle Pitts, right? They're going to ride with Matt Ryan and the offensive weapons that they have. How do you think they should approach this, knowing that some of these teams might be desperate to get somebody?
It's all about the guy that write the checks, Arthur Blank. Where do you see your franchise right now with Matt Ryan for the future. And also Arthur Smith, the head coach. How does he want to operate offensively? If he wants a guy that can offer him similar things to what he did with Ryan Tannehill in Tennessee, that's not Matt Ryan. You can't create that same type of offense. And obviously, it's a different situation. But I would not have this caveat if the owner wouldn't say that he's thinking about the future at that position, and the head coach was coming from a place where athleticism was a part of his quarterback playing.
Yeah.
All right. So that's the one thing that gives me pause when people say, well, just take Kyle Pitts and get it over with. Hold on. There's two guys in this organization right now that may be thinking about the Atlanta Falcons in 2023, 2024, 2025 that could change the perspective of this draft.
I just think it's interesting because Carolina obviously likes Sam Darnold. But we don't know if they love Sam Darnold. And we're going to find out tomorrow night.
They may not know yet, right?
Yeah, they don't know yet. They haven't been on the field with them. But if they decide to go move back or they take an offensive lineman at 8, they're rolling the dice a little bit because as much as I love Sam Darnold, you're going into a season, and it's your second year with your new regime with just, with just Sam Darnold, right? With just Sam Darnold.
How dare you?
But I think that's a fair for a team that was.
Right.
I mean, they were big game hunting a month ago with Deshaun, right?
Yes, and that's the point here. They made the decision to move on from Teddy long before they traded for Sam Darnold. This was already in the cards. They should still consider a quarterback.
And you made this point last week. Denver is good quarterback play away from being a really good playoff contender. You know? They are going to get good quarterback play out of Teddy Bridgewater. Now the question is, do they want the chance for great quarterback play? And if they do, they are going to have to go up in front of Carolina to secure a quarterback.
Again, we're just a day away from figuring out exactly what happens in this draft. It's all happening just right over there, and we'll have you covered on all of it. Let's get Adam Schefter back in here with a little bit more details on this. Adam, go ahead.
Laura, one final point to make on the Carolina Panthers quarterback situation. They still have not officially picked up the fifth-year option in Sam Darnold's contract. Now, if you trade for a quarterback, ordinarily you would be picking up that option. But they haven't done that yet, which leaves open the possibility that the Carolina Panthers could wind up taking a quarterback in the first round tomorrow night, though they also have talked to other teams about moving back in the draft and trading back. So there are two options there for the Carolina Panthers that seem to have gotten a little bit more attention today. The idea of trading back and the fact that they haven't picked up Sam Darnold's contract option and have now traded away Teddy Bridgewater could view quarterback here as a value play for the Panthers tomorrow night.
Ooh, I like
just
it.
Popped in my mind.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, Adam.
Go ahead.
Really fast, Marcus, what popped?
No, just listening to Shefty, right? Like the evaluation process with the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
Regardless of Sam Darnold's tape and what he's done, at least the Panthers have that. Right? Like, at least they can evaluate. Because through that process of trading for him, somebody had to see we could make this guy our quarterback.
Right.
And he can be very good.
His talent is his talent.
There you go. So I'm interested to know the thought process from Carolina, because obviously they felt like Sam Darnold was a guy with the skill set. Now what do you do when you get to this pick and potentially Justin Fields is sitting there? Now you're talking about who has more confidence in what.
You got to think Joe Brady is going to be in that room, and who is he campaigning for, right? The offensive coordinator. By the way, ESPN's draft predictor gives Trey Lance the highest chance to be the 8th overall pick, just slightly ahead of Justin Fields. That's a fun little mix to think about as well. We got so much more coming your way from Cleveland. We will be right back, and we are just getting started. We're diving into the top quarterback.